Welcome back to another edition of Vikings Film Room, brought to you by the Vikings Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Pete Bercich. Well, with division dreams dead, the Vikings still have a shot at the playoffs. And this week, none other than the Green Bay Packers come to town. So let's take a look at the film and see what the Vikings are going to have to do to keep their playoff hopes alive. Now, much has been made of the Packers' struggle on defense, especially in the passing game. But I think it's one area of the passing game where the Vikings have opportunities, and that's attacking the underneath coverage. Baker Mayfield had 9 completions in this game for 189 yards and a touchdown, and they were all underneath. So let's see how the Vikings can go about doing this. The first thing that you're going to see, Tampa Bay put somebody in motion. Look at all the communication, all the bumping, all the looking around. It just means they're not all on the same page. But this is just simple play action, right? This is just a simple play action pass, and like many times we've shown before, everybody's stepping up, and they're going to take advantage of the space behind them. But watch what happens on this play. Boom, you have 2 people pulling the mesh point. All eyes on the underneath coverage are right here on the running back. Who is going to cover over here? The corner and the safety. They don't have this thing situated perfectly. This is what you get. Play fake, wide receiver across, and there is nobody within 5 yards of him when he catches this football. And this is man-to-man coverage. Another great way of taking advantage of underneath coverage is isolating the linebackers, and we're going to see this happen right here. These throws by Mayfield aren't long, but you have a running back and a linebacker, one-on-one in space. The middle of this field is open. You have 4 Packer defenders. They're all outside the hash mark. Look how far outside the hash mark Walker is right here. What does that mean? Middle of the field is wide open. Quick move by the running back. Boom. Juke. Ball's delivered. Look at all this space to run after the catch. Again, putting guys on islands is what the Vikings offense is going to have to do. All right, we saw the running backs do it. How about a tight end doing it? Now, this is a pretty basic or common concept in the National Football League, but watch the underneath coverage again on this play. You have 3 receivers over here. This is going to be kind of like a star route. His vision should be here, but where is it? It's on the quarterback. Work your way over here, bump this guy, and then work your way here as this linebacker extends his way out to the flat to cover the running back. But watch what Mayfield decides to do. Once he sees that linebacker settle, he hits the go route. He hits the clear route, and it's a huge gain. So this underneath coverage is really, really spotty sometimes. Now, if you see middle open, you have other opportunities, again, with the tight ends, right, up the field. But how many times in film room have we seen this? This is just basic cover 2. 2 deep safety, maybe quarters over here, a cloud, midpoint over here, corner over here. Where do we attack? The middle of the field. These linebackers, again, all settled, right? And Mayfield knows where he wants to go with this football because he understands with the linebacker facing him and a receiver breaking toward the middle, he is going to be able to get this football in between the safeties, over the top of the head of the linebackers. Another huge play by Mayfield in the middle of the field. Now, one of the things you learn in the NFL as a linebacker especially is number count. What does that mean? Well, it means when you're dropping to your zone, the receivers kind of take you where you need to be. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Watch what Tampa Bay does. They're getting 5 receivers out, okay? You have all this up top, but the number count is wrong. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 defenders on only 2 receivers. Now down here, you only have 3 defenders on 3 receivers. You can't play zone unless you're blitzing somebody with 3 on 3. So this linebacker is in the wrong spot. He's pushing this way, needs to be over here. And because of that, you allow wide receiver on a linebacker to just do a simple move and get to the middle of the field, another big play. So the number counts sometimes are off as well. Now, we saw a little cover 2 earlier. Let's watch this. Now, this is right before the end of the half. This is where Tampa Bay needs to get themselves in field goal range so you know what the offense is going to do. They're going to try to get downfield, and because of that, the Packers are playing cover 2, which should help. Now, Mayfield gets to the top of his drop. Look at this receiver right here. They've got him exactly where they want. This is the deep middle defender, 2 deep safeties keeping everything underneath. But watch this throw. You have all these guys around this one receiver. They need to make this play. You have to make this play. But Mayfield's able to deliver this football, boom, right underneath the linebacker. Tampa Bay gets into field goal range to end the half on a field goal. Another thing Tampa Bay did was flooding zones. And if you see this, you have a wide receiver in motion right here, but you have a receiver, tight end, running back, all on one side of the field. And if the coverage is breaking down, you start the blitz, right? Well, in this case, the Packers send 5. And when you send 5, you're losing some underneath coverage, right? They have all 5 of these guys going. Receiver goes this way. You have 4 receivers. Now this linebacker is in a tough spot. He's either going to have to cover this tight end or work his way to the wide receiver. Mayfield already knows where he's going to go with this football and delivers a nice throw. Right up the seam, little cutback, easy touchdown. Again, Mayfield picking them apart underneath. So after pointing out opportunities with underneath coverage, the one thing you can't fall asleep on is this defensive front. They're still pretty good. One guy here, TJ Slayton, playing the run very well lately. And this is a perfect example. Him lined up. He works his way across the center. He slants, gets that big body in there, long arms, but it's the penetration, making the running back go side to side instead of north to south, ends up being a big TFL for the Packers. Now, another thing you want to stay away from, 3rd and long. You allow these defensive linemen to start running their games. Lucas Van Ness, first-round draft pick from Iowa, playing well. But watch Devontae Wyatt on this play and how unselfishly they work these games. So, Devontae Wyatt lined up in the A gap inside the guard, but watch his angle. He's going to help out Lucas Van Ness here. Instead of coming straight at the guard, he's going to work his way to the outside. Watch, boom, hits that, see his right shoulder right there on the tackle. This guard has his shoulders completely turned. There is no way they are going to be able to come off and block Lucas Van Ness, who ends up coming where? Underneath, you have your contain and you have your sack. They do run line games very, very well. Another example of a great line game. This is the same line game, except it's done with the interior defensive line. And you see before the snap, 5-man front. You have 3 linemen this side of the center. So that means they're probably going to turn the center toward those 3. Watch TJ Slayton here. He's going to, again, take this angle where instead of going right at the center, he's going to work his way to the guard. It's the same exact concept except done on the inside. Boom. Works his way into this guard. This center has his shoulders turned. That's the key. He's the ricochet guy, but watch this coming underneath. Boom, loops underneath, no one's even there, center's late, big sack. And finally, you got to worry about this guy, Rashawn Gary, a very smart pass rusher, and we're going to show that right here. You're going to see Gary's lined up way to the outside, running back offset his way, tackle probably going to fan out to him, but watch what he does. As soon as this running back looks his way, he knows he's going to get chipped, and when a defensive end outside linebacker gets chipped, that's time to go where? Right down the center of the tackle, and he has the speed and the power to do this. So instead of getting chipped, he works his way right into the tackle, gets those arms extended, gets this lineman to push, to lean into him, and as soon as he leans in, what does he do? Whoop, gives him the pull, long arm, gets in there, gets the sack. So Rashawn Gary is an excellent, excellent outside linebacker and pass rusher. And finally, you've got this guy, Kingsley Enagbare. He is an excellent athlete from the outside. We're going to see this again. Gets off the line of scrimmage, gets into the tackle. Again, notice the extension of the arms. The whole idea is to get this guard now to settle. You have your space. His arms are inside. It's a win. Well placed, strong hands. One arm reaches, gets underneath, but watch him turn this corner. And what does he do? Dives for that throwing hand. Just a brilliant, brilliant play. Not a lot of time, not a lot of space, but he gets out there and basically takes the ball out of the quarterback's hands. Great play by Enagbare. So for the Vikings to keep their playoff hopes alive and defeat these Green Bay Packers, a couple things have to happen. Number one, continue to take advantage of that underneath coverage, but do not fall asleep against that very talented defensive line.